Hello out there. Welcome to our talk here with Jamie and Claire. And today we are in the actual day of our full moon in the sign of Aries. So if you haven't looked outside when the sun goes down, please do in the next few days, and you'll see a huge, beautiful full moon. Take a moment, if you can, just to step outside under the light of the moon and just take it in. It's quite a sight. And we are here every 2 weeks to share the insights of the new and the full moon, and a reminder that the themes run through, the whole 2 weeks, really. It's not like today is the theme because today is the full moon, but the digesting how these phases of the moon um, land for you in the themes of your own life can be something that you continue to notice and feel throughout this whole phase. And so, yeah, this topic we've been really passionate about bringing to light, no pun intended, your capacity to connect deeper with yourself and connect to the energy that we are living in through these planetary energies that are always there, and we're finding a voice. I asked Claire to be that voice and to help bring some words to what we all are part of and what you may be feeling or experiencing. So Claire, if you I'd love to hear your take on the full moon in Aries.
Thank you, Jamie. Hi, everybody. Well, the full moon in Aries is the moon in the first sign of the zodiac, which is Aries, and which is a fire sign. So I tend to think of a full moon, and it's the moon is always an aqueous body, metaphysically representing our emotions, representing actually governing the tides of the ocean, not representing it, but truly doing that. So it's really an aqueous thing, the moon. And when it's in a fire sign, we can think of that contrast of, boiling water or a volcano, or you can play with it in your own mind of what does it mean to have water be warm, or what does it mean to have fire meet water? Is it extinguishing, or is it glistening and lighting up your emotional body so that you can see it more? I mean, the possibilities are endless. I'm just trying to invite you to think of this elementally. And just a side note, which is what I wanted to, say at the beginning. I think of the full moon in a fire sign differently than I think of a new moon in a fire sign. So, full moon in Aries, for example, I think of as different than a new moon in Aries, because we're talking about expression in a full moon, and in a dark moon or new moon, we're talking about intention. So there's an introverted and extroverted quality of the light of the moon in those two different phases. But that's sort of where I'm coming from with talking about our emotional body in its fullness meeting the powerful sign of Aries. So I can just talk about it a little bit from the point of view of how I have been experiencing it for the past couple of days. To cut to the chase, what I've been experiencing is kind of a primordial soup. The soup part is the aqueous bit. The primordiality is the fire part of it. Fire as in what fire can do sometimes I see words before I know how to pronounce them, metallurgically, what fire can do in terms of transforming things. That's kind of what Aries is about. It sort of represent, well, it's, first of all, it's represented by the head in the human form. And when you think about it, that's because the head is what, generally speaking, gets you born. It pushes through the birth canal. It's also represented by the glyph of the ram. But the ram is all about banging its head into another ram's head, and the fire that sparks supposedly from those bones clashing is what Aries and its planet associate Mars are sort of known for. Warring energy, me, what I want, but not in a like, oh, let's shame that selfish part of ourselves. No, it's really the creative. It's the baby who wants to be born. No one's going to rue a baby for saying, I know my head is going to open up the birth canal. I'll start with that. It's that kind of unthinking. I mean, ironically, it's associated with the head, but the unthinking push is really what Aries is about. And so the primordiality for me is the push to be more honest, to be more basic, to be more um, mm, doing what you need to survive emotionally, but in a good way. I'm sort of, I've never had such a long silence here, but I would have gone longer if I weren't self-conscious about it, because there's a better word than survive. It's just really doing something. Creativity is also a huge part of Aries. That's what I mean about survive. It's like a inventive and there's a word.
I have a question. Is it not self-protective? It's
self-generating.
Self-generating.
That's kind of it. This sort of oh god, I just read something that expressed this. It's like and it wasn't even about astrology, but I want to borrow. I can't remember it. Anyway, it's the emotions that are in us in this full moon that might make us be more. I'm going to say the words that I don't want to say just so they get out of my way, like cutthroat or savage or desperate. Maybe that's the word I mean, like desperate. Something that you would normally never do, but you're going to do now because there's a fucking baby being born.
I was going to say I was going to say self-preservation. That was the word that I was thinking of. Mm. I said something else, but self-preservation.
Well, again, I would tweak it to be sort of self-actualization. Self-actualization. In other words, to not preserve, it's not a protective do less thing vibe. Mm-hmm. It's a protective do more thing. Like be more you so that you don't miss out on being you kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas so much of our lives, we're like, I'm going to wait for the next bus, or I'm going to do it better next time, or I just really need to stay home today and protect myself and be preserving in that way, which I'm all for it.
Right, but
there's something that's more about this full moon in Aries reaching into the primordial stuff of which you are made and saying, tell me now. Mm-hmm. Tell me now what your truth is. And this is me talking to me, not me talking to you. Or, and being there's really no one else to tell but yourself. And that's the beauty and the primordial vision I have of sort of a, like a children's book of, monster, the monster that you are inside that you're so afraid of being, that you would then have to take care of if you really let that being be. that's what a full moon in Aries is to me.
Mm.
Is like, just tell me really truly who and what you are in the guts of it, in the primordial soup that is you.
Mm. I resonate a lot. I do. I do. I have my moon in the first house, which is ruled by Aries. And as you speak, and those of you who happen to know your birth chart or want to get your birth chart read, Claire's a great reader. It helps me understand myself and having this language to work with. So curious how these words land with you, or how the full moon is landing with you. Yeah. Any other words to close for Aries full moon?
Gosh, I just feel a connection with anyone who's interested in this conversation. So thanks for listening.
As well, me as well. It's a really powerful conversation in terms of the depths of, I think, how both Claire and I value how we can be supported in this way and how we want you to be supported in this way.
Nature.
We're part of it and we're in this together. Okay, ciao for now.
Peace out. See you at the Libra new moon.
Yes.